Hey everybody, this is Paul Campanario again with Next Level Entrepreneurs, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs break through barriers, accelerate growth, and get them to the next level. And today I'm excited. I got a special guest, Max Cachon, entrepreneur and strategic specialist in business, and has been in the epoxy resin industry for over the last 10 years roughly, and excited to have him. So Max, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, hi Paul, how are you?
Doing well, man. Glad you're here. Appreciate you making the time.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the invite. I'm super excited to exchange some business some all my life with you, like in the coding industry, and then some other stuff with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm much appreciative of the time. I know you're a busy guy, and it looks like you're traveling, so you got a couple hours on the road. So it looks like you were able to make some time for me, man. So appreciate it. Where are you headed to?
I'm headed to Quebec City. I'm gonna celebrate my birthday at the log house. We have kind of a cabin in Quebec City. I'm born and raised there, but I'm not living
Okay.
in this area for a while. See some family before I'm going down to Florida. I'm supposed to going down to Florida in about 2 weeks now. The sunshine missed me a lot, and I miss it too. So,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
gonna be down south very soon.
Awesome. Well, happy birthday, man. Is your birthday today or when is it?
23rd. Yeah,
23rd.
Monday.
Couple days. All right. There you
Yeah.
go. Awesome. Well, shoot, man. Appreciate it once again. So thank you.
I'm
Um,
I'm getting closer of the 40 years old. So
so how old are you? Or you're gonna be?
I'm turning 38. So I'm almost crossing the 40 years old border now. It's scary.
Right on. I got you by just a couple years, so we're pretty close in age, so that's good. We can relate. We can relate. Although I don't know about the Yankees, so I'm a Dodger fan, so I don't know about the Yankee hat, but well, let's get
I,
into it, bro. So, I mean, obviously, introduce you. You talk. We know that you're in the epoxy industry. So, why don't you just give us a little bit of background? And you can go far back as you like. You got a pretty interesting story, man. So, why don't you share with us kind of how you got to where you are at today, and certainly how you got into the epoxy industry, and maybe a few other things about you, so we can understand how you became a successful entrepreneur. What led you to where you currently are?
for sure. Let's start when I was young a little bit. So I'm born and raised in Beaupré, Quebec. I'm speak French, so you guys hear my accent. I'm sorry for that. I'm doing my best. Every time I speak in English, I'm apologize for my accent. So, anyways, it's my
Nah, man,
terms.
sounds good,
Uh,
bro. You're all
I'm
good.
I'm born and raised in Quebec. A little background. Like I was like different kind of I was my parent divorced very young, so I have to do a lot of stuff on my own. At 13 years old, I have my first job. Like I was not supposed to work, and we start to work in a window and door factory. So I'm working there. My job was to deliver the window to the construction site, and it was a pretty physical job. Then in the night, to
You
make
were
more
actually
money
were you
to
driving when you were 13?
no, I was just like
Oh,
the helper.
okay,
I was
okay.
the
I was
helper.
like, man, you're
So,
delivering, driving big trucks.
so we had to go to a construction site and drop the big windows, and then if we have to go to the, let's say, the third story, or the we have to bring the door and the window there. Pretty physical. And then in the night, having a second shift at start, and this job was so crazy. It's like we have to empty like the place where the chickens, like I don't have any words in English for that, but like all the chicken place, like the chicken live, what I mean. That we have to
Yeah.
grab them and put them in a cage, so they can be shipped out and go to transformation site. It was very dirty.
Wow.
You grab them, they are alive, and so we do that. I do that by night, and then after that, I try to survive. Then you know what? It's kind of a kid stuff. Then I decide to just stop that going to school, and I get out of school in maybe 2 years later at 16 years old. I was I was not in pretty good shape. If I can go more personal, at some point now, it's good to share with people what was my life. I was a little bit on the addiction side, a little bit of drugs and selling drugs, and tried to survive. You know what I mean? I was on my own, so I have nothing to
So
do except
at
surviving.
16, you're saying you left school, you were kind of done with
Yeah,
school,
but
and then you
I left school at 13. I left school at 13, and I come back at like around 14. And then I quit again at 16 because I didn't find any my place there, and it's not my word at this time. So and I have to survive because my I didn't live with my parent anymore, and then I have to pay the bills. You're
yeah,
kids at this point, so and then yes, so drugs, alcohol, a couple of addiction. Then my dad came back in my life. My dad is my best friend for real right now, and I'm not mad about him because he leave me alone for this. He had me at a very young age, so shit happened. You know what I mean? So I'm
yeah,
not a guy who blame other people for my what happened to me. I'm
right.
responsible for myself. So then he told me like, you're a pretty good guy. You're a pretty good kid. I know that I know that your soul and everything that you do will work if you just put the effort. And then I think you just start to grow in a bad way. Well, when a tree or a plant start to grow like this, and then you put the tutor, and then you have the tree
Right.
that's growing better. And he say you have to go to the army, do something with your life. You don't have school, you have nothing. And then at this moment, it was like a little bit after the 9/11,
Okay.
so it was the right timing. So they are recruiting a lot of infantry soldier.
So you were what, 18 at that time, give or take?
uh 17, so he signed for me.
17.
Yeah,
So you're saying your
17,
dad came
13,
back in
18.
he came back in your life when you were, 16, 17, and then
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
basically tried to give you some advice to kind of steer you in the right direction?
Yeah, by the end of the day, he was always there. I never lose the contact with him. But like
Okay.
when he saw me like going into drugs and alcohol, he really didn't like this, because he
Yeah.
know that I was better than this. And so that's at some point we had a lot of conversation, and I decided to just jump in the boat. He said, just go in the army. And I find it very interesting because something that I like is challenging myself. I'm always looking for challenge,
Yeah.
and even when I was young, I was looking for challenge. So, and I'm always there, and then still now I'm looking for that. So I decided to just jump in the boat. So he drove me to the recruiting center when I put my name, and then I explained my story a little bit. They say we need. They said unfortunately you don't have any degrees or school background. So there's infantry, artillery, or the armor stuff like the tank.
Yeah.
And I say, what is the worst? You say infantry. So let's do that. Let's do that. So
Wow.
I love the movies with the Marines and everything. So why not? Then after
Yeah,
that, they
why
send
not?
me to the yeah, of course. And that the pro and I'm gonna have to put myself in shape at this moment because I was smoking weed and smoking cigarettes and do a lot of stuff. I was not fat anymore. I was fat when I was kid, but I have to put myself in shape. So I have 3 months before the basic camp start. So I just
Okay.
take this very seriously, and then I
Yeah.
was the guy who running in the town. Like we I'm born and raised in a small town. Like 2,000 people live in this town, and then I'm the guy who running at night with a backpack, like in the morning. And I take it very seriously. I like Rocky Balboa,
Yeah.
like drinking my egg in the morning and going
So
going
did
outside
you
and
find
running.
it did you find it easy to just stop the alcohol and the drugs and just switch your mindset and say, boom, I have 3 months and I'm gonna do this? And did you waver at all, or did you do what you needed to do?
There's a couple of factors that influenced me. First of all, we didn't go into that, but I had a girlfriend at this moment uh, that just break up with me. And she was older than me, like she had like, I don't know, like maybe 21, and I have 17. Sorry for that. I'm turning 18. That was good.
It's
Yeah. She
All good, man.
and then yeah. So but I was almost 18. So but anyways, um, she had a pretty good job. She was a kind of a assistant accounting something, and I was really really in love with her, and she break up with me, and she told me I'm never gonna do something great in my life, and she need to fix her life and blah. And that was the kick off, like the kick
So that
in
gave
for
you
me.
some
Like I'm
motivation. You want to prove her wrong.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so let's do that shit. So I have to eliminate my friends, so all my friends, because they have bad influence on me. It's everybody. They call me, hey, what we doing tonight? What we are doing tonight? And then I say, no, guys, I cannot be at this party, or I don't want to be there anymore. So I just stay focused on that. Was very hard, Was mostly the alcohol was the worst thing for me.
Mm.
Since and yeah, but I get it. And then they send me to the basic training camp where your life changing. I still remember, bro, it was crazy. You came from a different life, like, and then you jump in the bus. The bus bring you to the it's called RFC, like recruiting. It's kind of the place that you have your basing camps for almost like 18 weeks. Okay.
Okay.
um so the first thing I remember is when the door opened, like you're not a civilian anymore, and
Right.
like the staff start to almost bark at you, like you have to move your arm like this. You're not a human anymore. You're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, what I'm what I'm doing here.
What did I get into?
Yeah, and then I have the kind of personality that like I really don't like orders, but I have to shut my mouth, and it's still the same in my life right now. I really don't like when people tell me to do something. So
Yeah.
basically, I do my shit and I go there. I make a lot of friends for real. And then the first month was a little bit crazy with all the stuff that you have to do, like your bed, your boots, everything.
Right.
But I dive in, and I'm kind of a little bit of a chameleon. The things that can change their color.
Yeah. Chameleon. Yeah.
Yeah, I fit in a lot of space. I'm very adaptive. So we
So
just we made it
how long did you serve in the military?
for 9 years and
Oh, wow.
236 days. Yeah,
Wow. So almost 10 years.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't know how the Canadian military, works, because is there a certain amount of time that's a minimum, or did you re-enlist, or how did that go?
It was like you go by contract, so you can sign
Okay.
for 5 years, you can sign for 10 years, and then after that they can ask you to sign for the rest of your career, like 25 years, basically. So I've been deployed in combat zone. I've been deployed in Afghanistan. Then I had a little bit of some issues. Then I did just decide to release, and then I released with a very honorable certificate, and with the
Okay.
ceremony, and it was very nice, and
Nice.
people enjoyed me. I did a lot of training, did a lot of course in the military, like a pretty difficult course that you can have in the infantry. It was pretty good. I did for real, to be honest, and then being deployed in Afghanistan in combat zone and having so much such a jobs with such important stuff to do, and like the friendship in the army, and just like the loyalties and all your duties, and the importance of being there, being on a timing, and when you have a task or when you have a mission, you have to accomplish it, no matter what. There is
Yeah.
failure is not an option in the army. So that's that's for me something that is very important, and still today I live by this code.
So obviously it sounds like that 10 years of experience has shaped you quite a bit, and that is, largely, maybe the reason why you're acting the way that you act, that you do the things that you do, and has shaped maybe decisions you have made. Um, I would say most people that I talk to, right, that's a big part of it. But how do you think that, being in the military, I mean, you're in the military for 10 years. How do you get into your next phase of your life, right? How does that happen? I mean, a lot of times I have family that's been in the military, and it's not an easy transition. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but how does that lead into your next venture?
After the Afghanistan, when the combat, when the Canadian decide to stop the combat operation, so I serve under ISAF, that is International Security Assistance Force, in Kandahar. Then when they stopped to do the combat, and then me, I was a guy from the battle group in the, and for me, I was like, oh, now it's gonna be not sad but boring. And then I have a couple of
Yeah.
injuries, anyways. So and then I've done a lot of stuff back to back, like new course deployment. Like every deployment, you have like the I don't know how to say that in English, but like the training before the deployment with for the battle group and everything. So I spent a lot of years by doing this, and then uh, and I and for me, I love to say this now, and I just realized talking to you that it's real, it's true, because I love to say that everything lasts 10 years. For real, for me, it's always like this. Now I'm just realized that I've been 10 years in coding, and now I'm quitting, and then I realized that I was 10 years in the army. Now it's makes sense because you get I need um
You need to get
new
some
purpose,
excitement.
like
Some, yeah.
yeah, new stuff, new venture, and then other than this, I'm not creative anymore, and I start to not dying, but I'm start to
Yeah, you lose a
uh
passion, right? You
yeah,
find passion in new things, and a lot of entrepreneurs, they tend to get burnt out with something that maybe they've built and it's created and now it's running, and their mind is going in a way where it's like, okay, what else can I create? What else can I start? And it's going
yep,
back to, a mission, right? And how can I achieve something that maybe requires me to build, to partner with other people, and to have it come to fruition and become a reality. I think that's something most entrepreneurs have. It sounds like that's what you have. But I want to get back to, after you got out of the military, how did you get into the coding business or the coding industry? Epoxy coating, resins. How did you get into that?
but first of all, let's come back to the reality. So after I get released, very honorable. I
Right.
get a big ceremony. Everybody shake my hand. Thank you for your services. I get certificate, and then after like 2 3 weeks, then everything calm down, and then you just realize that fuck, I'm
Like, oh
nothing
shit,
now.
what am I gonna do?
And then I
Right.
start to turn my thumbs, and I went, I still have my own demon in my head since I'm young, and then my I can say that, people can comment on this, it's okay, but like my ear, like right ear, is just like a very bad neighborhood, and I should not be there alone, so I have to keep my brain busy. So if I'm not busy, I'm going crazy. It's a very bad neighborhood here, so
Yeah.
by keeping myself busy, I'm surviving, and I'm getting better and
Staying out
better
of
and better.
trouble.
So I decided to, oh yeah, yeah, big time. So I decided to start my first business. My first business was like landscaping, because I tried
Okay.
to find something. I have no degree, no nothing. So the easiest way to make money when you don't know nothing. So I say I'm gonna cut grass. I'm gonna do some stuff like this. Then I start by buying two tractors to cut the grass. Then I start this, and then after that, I'm always like, I want more, because at this moment, I'm like this. I saw a lot of guy with the bigger truck, and then they do landscaping. They have excavator and everything. I'm like, what the
Right.
fuck? I'm just, I'm just cutting the
I just
grass.
got
So
these
I'm
two
gonna buy
mowers. I mean, I
excavator.
want to get to that.
I need excavator. I'm gonna do the landscaping and everything. So
Right.
I have
Right.
no experience at this time, and at this moment of the life, there's not so much stuff on the internet. So I go to the library, and I take a lot of books about landscaping, and I start to read
That's
that.
awesome.
It's,
I mean,
it's
that's
insane.
awesome though,
Then
man, because like, I mean, you got into something that's low cost. You started it, and then you realize maybe there's something more. You could take it to another level, but you didn't just like, oh, let me buy this or that. You started researching. You did your due diligence. I mean, that's what people need to do. I mean, that's the right way to do it.
yeah, exactly, and also scale up for something else. You just do your analysis, and then you. But most of the time, you end up there, and then you're like, oh, I'm here now. So it's just like take your time, just look around yourself, and then you're gonna get there. So I get my excavator. Then uh, 3 years later, remember I jump into this venture without any experience.
Right.
I almost doesn't know how to operate an excavator. That was the first time I
Right.
tried an excavator. Was when I bought one. I bought one. So, and then 3 years later, I won the prestigious landscaping pricing in the architectural stuff, and everybody was like, "Who's this
Nice.
fucking company?" And I'm the kind of guy like the big occasion, not. I love to say like not Sidney Crosby, but I love Sidney Crosby, like the golden goal. I'm the kind of guy who always grab the biggest customer, the biggest deal. But I'm not a guy for the small stuff. That's my not. How can I say that? That's my weakness.
Yeah.
Some that need to be big for me to be good. I need to have a big challenge.
Yeah. Do you think sometimes though that's like a pitfall kind of gets you in a position maybe that you if you want to grow too fast, you want to get too big too fast, right? Have you had some adversity with that or anything relating?
Yes, so I can say to people right now with all my experience, and I love my dad always say me one phrase that I remember for all my life, and it's true now at 38. He told me in French, but I'm gonna translate in English. Say, I've been young, but you never been old. That means a
Hmm.
lot. So you get experience. So my first business, or unfortunately, I go down in bankruptcy. Even if I won this prestigious pricing, I take
Yeah.
so much commercial jobs that they pay
Right.
you in 120 days. They keep 10%
Yeah.
for the deficiency. If they find deficiency, you deal with engineer and architect. So I have too much of a receivable that's just crunch me. So I end up in bankruptcy. But I can't. For me, if you don't stop, it's never a failure. You have to take everything that you have to take to understand. And everybody asks me, "Oh, you need to stop. You're not a good manager." Blah blah blah. And I say, "Go fuck yourself, bro. Let me do my stuff." And I start back. I rebuy excavators again, and I
You,
start to do the yeah, and I start to do the around the houses, the drain. That's good
the
money. You do
irrigation
that
and
in
all that. Yeah.
yeah, irrigation, and because here in Montreal, Quebec, we have basements. So in basements, we have water. So we need to put pipes under the ground
Gotcha.
in the
Yeah.
basement. So that kind of jobs, that's it's very lucrative, and it's easy. So we start back and do this, and then I grow up, and we just sold this company after. So first company,
Nice.
and
So
after
that
that,
was your first that was
after
your
that,
first company you built up and sold.
yeah, exactly.
Love
Then
it.
because I get an offer from a bigger guy in my area, and he say, "Yo, Max, we want to buy you, and then you're gonna stay with me." And I
Was it
say,
was it was it
if
six
you
figures, seven figures? How much did you sell it for? Or you wouldn't want to share?
was not that big at this moment. It was like two hundred
Okay.
and fifty thousand. It's just
Okay.
my truck, my excavator is just. It was not a
Yeah.
big deal, but you know
Well, that's
what?
good experience, That's I mean, I've sold a couple companies myself, and I think having that experience going through, that process of the buyer, seller, lawyers, contracts, that's a good experience to have, man. And I think it's probably served you well.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then you get me this 250K in my hand, not
Yeah.
everywhere. So with this, I create something else. So my dad was like almost retiring from. He was working from a construction firm that is building houses.
Okay.
And then he jumped with me, and we decided to just start making. My dad was he want to do garage, but since he was in the construction, he want to do garage wall and sell garage wall, not the slat wall, but the real wall, the truss, and the roof, so people can build their own garage. It's kind of a
Okay.
garage kit, and that's
Oh,
where
wow.
where we go with the garage, and then we're gonna end up in the coating. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. Okay.
we create, me and my dad, a company called Pro Garage, and
Okay.
then that's the first thing. That's the moment that I came into the garage world. So we
Okay.
sell at this moment. We sell garage kits so people can build. Or we go to the site and
So
we
they were
build it. We
pre-manufactured garage kits that you would sell someone, and they would just put it together.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was the kind of the first one at this moment to start promoting a lot on Facebook. And I put a lot of advertising and advertising and advertising
So
at this same
what
moment.
year was that?
2004, 2014, 15, like almost 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I put a lot of advertising, and at this point, Facebook was very strong. There's no Instagram,
Right.
there's no TikTok, there's nothing. It's
Yeah.
like Facebook was the platform,
It
so
was
you can
it.
make a lot of money. Yeah, back in the days, it was very easy to make money there. So I decided to do that, and then we end up by doing this. Everything was fine, and then Eric Gravel saw my post, and then it was the first one to do that too in decoding. Like, it was putting a lot of money and a lot of money into decoding. And then he called me like, pro garage, I'm Espace Beton, and then we can do something together. You sell the garage, we can sell the floor. And I see the opportunity with him, because at this moment it was not pure epoxy, it was Espace Beton, kind of a distributors of CTM product at this moment. And then
Okay.
I saw his store, and I see, wow, how beautiful it is. It's an amazing industry, and I was very interested by this. So I decided to ask him, because he contacted me to just, hey, you do the garage, I'm gonna do the floor. And I
Right.
say, yes, no problem. But hey, do you have someone in Quebec? Do you have a store in Quebec? He said no. So why I cannot be your store? So I opened the first store of Eric Gravel in Quebec City. Then then we start like this. Then after
And
that, Eric
what was
decided
the
to
name of
just
that store?
Espace Beton. It's in French
It's
name.
it's Hospital. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So that
Yeah,
was the
we
second
in English.
epoxy resin store.
Yeah, that was his
Okay.
second epoxy store for him. Then like 1 year later, he decided to create his own brand, and he asked me I should do the same because CTM was about to, there was talking about selling the company at this moment. Even
Right.
if they sell a little bit later, they sell the company a little bit later, but they already talk about this. So Eric told me that I should create my private label, and he's gonna create his private label. So we decided to do that. I do that. I create Power Coat. So
Okay.
everybody know Power Coat. And
Yeah.
then after that, we end up with having a big distributor in Canada. Um, then after that, it's another failure for me because I take a big two, and then I cannot serve this company very well with the cash flow that I have at this moment, and then just so. Like a year later again, they dropped me for Sika, and they decided to sell Sika product. But I was the first one to introduce the epoxy in those 43 stores in Canada. So another good ad tricks for me. Then Eric called me back because, okay, so I passed a lot of good information, but I was not only a private label, I decided to manufacture. So I
Okay.
started manufacturing product in 2016. So we create the first factory. You can go on YouTube, like Road Power Coat NXG. I have a video there that's of my first factory on YouTube. Then I
So in
decide, I
2006,
always
so in
want to.
2016, let me make sure I understand this. So in 2016, you still have your store, but then you were part of this 43 store conglomerate, and then that how yeah, kind of get into that a little bit more. I want to paint a clearer picture of
Yeah.
that.
So once me and Eric decide to have our own label, he create Pure Epoxy and I create Power Coat.
Okay.
Then I didn't have any more store because we decided to find distributors. So with my brand, I reached distributors. Then we put our product Power Coat into 43 stores in Canada.
Gotcha.
Uh,
So
so that
you were manufacturing now at that point and distributing your product to the
yes,
stores.
yes, a little bit later because I was trying to
Okay.
because now when I put my feet into this area, I was like, oh, I need better margin. I need to control everything. So now my life depends on something else because I'm a private label. So and then I have to support all those stores, and they ask for a lot of stuff like marketing or samples, and it was very
Yeah.
hard. And then I should, something I regret, and you don't have to regret in life, but I should told them like from the beginning, like, hey, I didn't have the capability to do that, and I'm sure they can. At this moment, they helped me if I told that.
Yeah.
But I was like proud, and I didn't want to say, hey guys, I'm a small guy with the good brand. But anyways, so to achieve that, I decided to just like I have to do something. So I try to just improve, and then I end up by being a manufacturer. So after that, when they drop the ball and they go with Sika, I'm still a manufacturer. So Eric again, he called
Yeah.
me because he was not a manufacturer. So he called me, why not we go back together? And then we move all the factory to Montreal, and I moved myself to
How did you get
Montreal.
into manufacturing though? Did you partner up with someone, or how did that happen?
Yeah, there's a guy that I met on LinkedIn. He was a guy from another country, so he flew there. I put a trailer, like a kind of a, how you say that, Harvey, you know,
Yeah, RV.
like
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, like the
Yeah.
Breaking Bad stuff. I put I put that in my manufacturing site, and then he was there and just doing his stuff. Then it was not doing great. I have to do it on my own because there. I don't want to go deep in that because it's a little bit conflict at this point.
Yeah.
But I had to do that on my own because when he left, I was like alone without a lot of knowledge, except what he didn't teach me a lot. So, but I was alone with this manufacturing site with a customer to serve, and I didn't know how to batch, how to make the
Right.
product. So I
Gotcha.
do a lot of phone calls, and what I can say is just if you don't ask for help, you're not gonna have help. You don't have to worry about how you're gonna look. So I just decide to look like like a piece of nothing, and I call other manufacturers, can you help me, can you help me? And then someone helped me at this time. So he teach me a lot of stuff. I will not mention it, who it is, but he teach me a lot. I spent a lot of time with him, and then after that I travel to another location when I can work with the PhD and other people like this, and I still continue to learn how to make, formulate, and do product. So yeah, it was not a good time, but if you don't
So
put your knee on the floor, it's always something else. So I continue to do that. Then Eric called me, so we end up at Pure Epoxy.
okay. And so what year was that?
2016. Okay, so I go back to Pure Epoxy in 2017.
Okay. And
So
so
he called me and say,
and
Max, I want to be a manufacturer.
so you two join up, create, or he's at Pure Epoxy at that point, and you guys create Pure Epoxy, the manufacturing company, together.
Yeah. At the end of the day, to be honest, like he saved my ass, but he wins something. I
Yeah.
was going down
No, for sure.
again,
Yeah.
and he saved my ass.
I mean, the reality is in most partnerships, it's usually, at one point it's not a 50-50. Someone's helping another out, someone's giving back something, and there's a good exchange, but it's hard to say, like, oh, as long as it's, I hate to say win-win, but if each person has something to give, and people are, not, selfish to a certain extent, because you have to be always somewhat selfish. But if there's an equal or a decent amount of, give and take, then it usually can be a good thing. But partnerships are tough, man. I mean, I've been in a few myself, and they're challenging, and I know you've been in several as well. But um,
Yeah,
so not the easiest things to be in, but they sometimes it's the only option.
yeah. It's when you involve other parties and you have other humans with other mindset and different vision and everything, you start to I don't like to say that, but you create yourself own problem. And now
Yeah.
my now I try to tell people like you have to avoid as much as you can to create enemies.
Yeah.
Even if you have to shut your mouth. Now I'm trying to avoid as much as I can to create enemies, because enemies make enemies grow, and you have more enemies, and
Yeah.
sometimes they don't know why they hate you, and they
Right.
have no reason. So,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
mean,
so it is what it is.
so I know there's, quite a bit of things going on right now, probably some things that you can't, speak to. But, is there anything else that you can share that, has made you who you are today? And let me just preface that by saying, you are a successful entrepreneur. You've had a lot of success, as a business owner. And so, you know, you can look back at your military background, you can look back at your drive, right? You have a lot of things that you can say, hey, this is, my, what has molded me into who I am today. You've also mentioned to me privately that you have the support of an amazing woman. And I know for me personally that, you know, a lot of times I'm only as successful as my wife, who is supporting me and giving me all the support and, the drive and the motivation. So I'm not sure if that's something else you want to speak to, but I know how important it is to have the support from your significant other.
All right, big time, big time. I love to say like love. Three things to get successful. Like love, because imagine yourself without a woman. You're not the same human if you don't have a home to come back and someone to kiss when you come back. And then it's not you're not the same. If you're alone, you're not the same human, for real,
Yeah.
100%. So, and then when you have the right woman, because when you do, and then you know that the epoxy world is a very mean and nasty world. So you can it's a drama queen
Well,
industry. So
we should
you
talk about
you
that.
need thick skin. Yeah. So you need a very thick skin, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
just like draining you down, and just but you have to. Me, when I let's say when I wake up in the morning, I'm like I love to say I put my my superhuman suit. And then when
Mm-hmm.
everything cannot go through that, I have some kryptonite, but I will not say what it is. But I put my I put my Superman suit, and I go in the field. I go in the industry, at, and I do my jobs. And when I get home, I need to remove that. I need to remove that suit. And now I'm the Maxime. I'm Max again. I'm Max with
Yeah.
emotion. I'm Max with feelings. And then sometimes I'm sad. And then yes, fuck, I cry sometimes. It was a lot of stuff. The people know my life very close. They can they can tell you, holy shit, this guy been through so much stuff. You can believe that. And since now, there's a lot of people that just, if someone have just one of my problems, sometimes there's a lot of people will just drive their car and try to hit another truck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
crazy. But the superhuman suit, you go through your stuff, and then you have a job to do for your family. You can fail. You can. It's just not an option. There's always a solution.
Well, I think it goes back
But
to, you hear the saying, it's not how many times you get hit, it's how many times you get back up. And I mean, the most successful people fail, and what they do with that is what makes them who they are. And you know, you've proven that you can run a successful business, that you can make the right decisions. And right now you said that you're, um, you know, 10 years military, 10 years coding industry. So what's next for you, man? What do you want to share? What do you got going on? What's in front of you right now?
uh, I have I have something in mind.
Put you on the
It's
spot.
not ready to talk. I'm not ready to talk. We can do another podcast a little bit later. But
Yeah.
for sure, I'm going to use my skill that I've learned in the past years. But I want to tell something to other people. Like, you have to fail and embrace it. Embrace the failure. Failure is
How do you
cool.
do
Sometimes
that
it's because
though, right? Like that. So that's hard, to tell someone that, like, hey, if you fail, just embrace it. I mean, like, what do you do to embrace failure? You just accept it and just
uh,
continue, just move on. I mean, I have my ways, but like, what do you say to someone that's just, lost their business maybe, or that, maybe they lost a big contract, something blew up in their face, and they're like, they had a major setback.
so every time we fail, we have to separate stuff. So when we fail, we just have to do like, um, what I've learned, what I made wrong, and why. So I do like kind of a mood board, And if you check at my office's wall is always like a big post-it, and I put everything. And I'm like, okay, so I fail because of this and that and this and that, but how I'm gonna grow up on this. But people are just sometimes they are too proud, too proud, and you have to put that on a side. You have to understand that you're a human, and then it's normal that people will judge you because you don't need that attention. You don't need me. I'm like Conor McGregor's always say like I don't give a shit what people say. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, everybody like it's like the whole planet Earth doesn't like Conor McGregor, but at the end of the day, he fucking drive a Lamborghini yacht, and he have a couple of business with whiskey and everything. He don't give a shit about people. But the people take, they put too much on this attention. Like, oh, he say that to me, he think that of me. Do you know how many times I get hit on Facebook, and then some people talk shit about me? You know that, and then I'm still there. Because those people doesn't know me, and I don't want them to know me. I'm, but
I
you
think a
have
lot of it.
to.
I mean, like, I kind of hear what you're saying, and for me, if I could sum it up, I think it's like, who gives a shit what other people think, right? Like, at the end of the day, your close ones, and of course, your relationship with God is what matters. And if everyone cared about, and a lot of people do, what other people say, then they're just going to continue to get caught up in that. They're going to continue to focus on the wrong things. And I think that is how people move on from it. It's like, it's happened. It is what it is. It's done. It's over with. Let's move on. But I like what you said. How you have a board, and maybe you do a quick analysis, and maybe say, hey, what did I do that's a mistake that I would never do again? What did I learn from it? And maybe even having someone that you can speak to, man. And that's why I think having a mentor is so important, or even a close friend or your wife, because a lot of times people try to keep it inside. I know, like for me personally, sometimes I keep a lot of stuff inside, and then it builds up. It builds up. But as I've gotten older, I think I've gotten wiser, as we hope most people do, where I've been able to share my feelings a little bit more, and honestly, it helps.
It helps, and you're right, 100%. Because when I was at like 29, and I running a business, my decision was made with my 29 years old brain. So, and then the more you grow, the more you like, I know if I do that, it's going to happen this. And the most important thing is like Steve Jobs always say that you have to connect the dots. You have to see the bigger pictures. You have to understand
Right.
like in three-dimensional. You have to understand that the decision process, every decision that you're gonna take, you have to understand every possibility. Because business is kind of if I open this door, my life is going to change. But if I open this door, my life is going to change. If I open this door, my life is going to change too, but different ways.
Yeah.
So it's like you can have 60 story. You have to being able to predict what is behind this door if you take that decision. But this came with experience, and this came with failure. You cannot predict what is behind the door if you don't fail in the past. Because if you fail in the past, and I know what is, well, let's say, for example, I know what is bankruptcy. So I know if I go in that road and I don't try to find a plan to avoid this, I know what this road is. And if I open this door, I know what it is. And then let's say like not going in court for business, I know what it is. And I know that if you go there, it's going to cost you like a liver. Fuck, yeah. And I know if I take this decision, let's say, for example, me, people get mad at me like in the business because I give free product to people that fail the floor. I don't argue
Yeah.
with them. I don't agree with them. I give them free product because I understand something. The more you create enemies, the more you're going to get hit. So it's cost you less. And it's kind of the business analysis that you need to understand is going to cost you less at this point of your life right now, that giving like 6 kids to a guy that pissing him off, and it's going to spread the world, and you're going to
Yeah.
piss off like the whole fucking market.
I mean, it's a trade-off for sure. I mean, you're building relationships and you're building trust, which at the end of the day, is a lot more important, right? For I think a lot of reasons, but obviously you got to accept the business side of it, and you got to weigh it. But giving 6 kits to someone for a failed floor or something that happened, it's not going to break you. And so I think a
No,
lot of people
exactly.
appreciate that mindset that are installers and contractors.
And I answer my phone. Everybody know me. I answer my
Where
phone
do you
from
where do
day
you
to night.
Yeah, I mean, I've known you for a while, man, and like honestly, you're a genuine person, and I I respect you a ton and appreciate all the support and you know, the relationship that you and I have. And I think you know, that is important in business, and whether, you know, we do business together or not. I mean, just having that trust in the same industry is so important. And on that note, actually, like where I mean, where do you see the epoxy resin industry? Because it is kind of gone mainstream over the last couple years. I mean, where do you think it's going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Uh, I, it's changing right now, and you can see that by other people moves. You know, I see that when we start the industry, it was easy. Like we create a product, we create a label, we create the demand over that product. We do a lot of sponsor on Facebook, and then people buy this, and now you have all this influencer all over the place in Instagram, on TikTok that doing floor,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of training. The people are giving training, and they want to there's a lot of people to want to have their for them it's a gig, you know, it's a second jobs, or
right.
they learn the
A little extra
epoxy.
more
So
income.
it's
Mhm.
yeah, exactly, and it's different, and I can say that there's a lot of control of that side for the new market, because like the influencer create their own customer right now, and then if they are attached to a brand, they will buy this. And also, like you just saw the post that about the Canada resin supply. Now there's a manufacturer that take over Canadian resin supply, and manufacturing. So uh, and also in the United States as well. Um, so there's some change. So I think like we're gonna see this industry like just not shrink, but just reorganize in the right direction. So like the good will
So you're
survive.
saying, yeah, so you're saying that there's going to be some more maybe mergers and companies that are kind of realigning with other companies to kind of approach the industry in a different way.
Yeah, maybe I'm always like the precursor. I open the door to other manufacturer that's gonna buy other distributor now.
Yeah. I
Anyways,
mean, so
it's
you
just
mentioned Canada Resin Supply. So did you want to speak to that transaction?
uh, yes, I don't want to speak on that right now. So
Okay.
I didn't make any public announcement on it right now. I just Jason made it, Chemtech made it. Me, I'm a little bit like this now, so I'm not gonna
But
dive into it.
you
We're
were
gonna
the you were a part owner of you were owner of Canada Resin Supply, and so there
yeah
was an agreement between you
yeah
and Chemtech.
yeah. I've I've created Canada Resin Supply in 2023. Hey, for real, it's the fastest company I've created in my life. You know, we end up like I cannot say the numbers, but it's a big numbers. So combine like both countries, USA and Canada. Uh, my sales was eh, there's a lot, but not that much, but there's a lot. So
Okay.
let's say I don't
Eight
want to be
figures,
public
nine
with that.
figures, somewhere around there.
I have to count on my figure.
Big enough, big enough.
Yeah, that
So
was
you
pretty good.
so
Hey, it was a startup. It's a plan to help a company to bring their sales higher. Um, and it was just a plan, and now
so you sold your landscaping business, and then you sold your CRS. Was there anything else that you sold, or was those only two businesses right at this point?
pure epoxy with Eric.
Oh, pure. Oh, that's right. So three. So we didn't even talk about that, but that's okay. I got you.
Yeah,
So well, you sold pure epoxy. You got a pretty penny for that, and then you started building your next. What was right after pure epoxy?
Canada Resin Supply. We
Canada
built
Res
that
Supply,
in 1 year. Canada
and
Resin
then
Supply, U.S. Resin Supply. We built that in 1 year, and then I think we made it great. Of course, not without adversity. Uh, but I'm the kind of guy could jump off the plane. I don't know if the right sentence. Jump off the plane and build a parachute in the fail. So
yeah,
that's
trying to
exactly
yeah
what I've
build a
done.
plane while you're flying it. Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah. So
I got you.
we've done that. I'm very proud of CRS and US Furniture Supply. By the end of the day, it's the fastest growing network I've never made in my life. But it's go back to the thing that I want to say to entrepreneurs: never burn the bridge. Every time I get in trouble, and trust me, I get in trouble a lot. Most of the time, it was an enemies that saved me. a competitor. It's
It was an
always,
enemy or a competitor that saved you? Is that what you said?
yeah, all the time. Your friend will fucking never help you most of the time. You know, they will, now they didn't have something else to take from you and they see you fail, but never burn bridges. You never know when you're
So
gonna
that
meet
goes
those
back to the
guys. And
saying, man. So there's a saying in America, you know, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. So that definitely rings true.
exactly, his first time was Eric Gravel. We joined together, but at the end of the day, he won something with me. He
Yeah, they're
start
not
from
doing something just to do it. They're getting something out of it
no,
for sure.
yeah, he's, you know, I started this manufacturing site in Blainville for going from I think at this moment I cannot say numbers, I don't know, but maybe from 9 to 21 million dollars. So I worked, I helped him, he helped me, um, and it's the same now. So now I'm out of this industry. You're not gonna see me again over the coding, but yeah, it was fun. But the coding in business, you're gonna see me, but not in the coding. You know,
Gotcha. Maybe something related to the coatings?
I know, like that. Maybe coding the moon. I
Well,
don't know.
man,
I'm joking.
no. So, I mean, anything else that you would like to share regarding the coating industry, or any other advice that you would give to an entrepreneur, or even contractors in general, to kind of help them along their way as they're maybe they're starting their company or kind of getting into new ventures. What would be your knowing how things are right now? What would be something you would give
Uh,
advice?
let's say start with the coding. I'm gonna start with the coding. So I wish like for this industry, since I'm getting out, like I wish for people that stay in, I will say something. I will say like just stop talking against each other's. You cannot believe how much powerful you are if you regroup. And then just people are too. I don't know if they don't get it, but you know how I build CRS and the US supply just by regrouping people. I
Right.
didn't create anything new. I didn't create anything new. I just regroup people.
Yeah,
You
you
see all
led
my
them.
team, you know, yeah. And I just regroup
Yeah.
people. I didn't do nothing else, nothing new, just regrouping the right people. And then some will say, oh, it was not the right people. For me, it was the right people. And then for them,
Yeah.
maybe not. But for me, it works. But just stop. I wish they can stop to just fight each other's. And then find good people and regroup and reorganize yourself. And because it's an industry that you can make money, but it's also an industry that you can lose a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you have to be smart. You have to be smart. You will not survive, let's say in Montreal with one store when you have winters. But if you cooperate and create something bigger and you have something in Florida, like talk to people, just make something,
Yeah.
do the joint venture. Stop to and there's too much product in the industry right now anyway. So I wish that there's gonna be some kind of a cleaning and just like influencer do your stuff and then it's nice, but let the manufacturer do their stuff. Like it's just like I think like you know what I mean. Like I wish that people will get together and create bigger team.
Yeah. No, maybe some things are coming soon,
I
you know?
think I hope
Wh-
I hope so.
What any last words, advice that you would give a contractor entrepreneurs that are, maybe they're struggling in business or want to start something new, um, anything at all.
My last venture, CRS and US Supply, teach me a lot. And for the first time in my life, I apply some stuff that I learned. Accounting, lawyers, and bankers, cash flow,
Yeah.
and
Cash flow.
circle. And your circle on your fingers. You have your accountant. You need to have the best accountant, but stay close to those people. My banker, I call him, I text him, I ask favor. But when I call him, it's because the accountant provide me the documentation for the banker. It's kind of a they
Yeah,
all
it's a
work
circle.
together. You're gonna spend money on that, but create your circle, the 5 fingers. Create your 5 finger circle, then you can go to war. Cash flow is king. You have to start with with something that you, let's say, don't create something that is cash sucks. Create something that is cash flow first. Build your pockets, build your bank account.
Your
Then be
reserve, yeah.
careful. Yeah, and then don't give your money to other people. Avoid credit as much as you can if you're not big enough. Answer your account. And also for entrepreneurs, guys, don't be shy to ask. Don't be shy before it's too late. It's turning dark outside. Sorry. uh,
No, it's good. You're
don't be
fine.
shy. Don't be shy. Me, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I take the call. I take the phone and I call everyone that I need to call, and I say, bro, I think I made a mistake. Hey Max, I'm gonna help you. And don't be shy for that. You're a human. So don't blame yourself. If you fail, just get back at the point that you can start again. It's very normal to fail, and then if people say I never, people that told you they never fail, they just fuck, don't talk to them. You have to fail.
Yeah. So it's cash flow. Don't overextend yourself. It's, you're going to fail, embrace it, learn from it, ask questions. And I think all those things just mentioned, man, will lead a lot of people, to success. So
On your left end and on your right, right end, if you can say, like, on the personal side, love, purpose, and process.
like
You
that.
need a purpose, and then when you
Love,
trust the
purpose, and
process. Yeah,
Awesome.
I really
Love it,
enjoy
man.
being an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah. Not me too. I think, it's always exciting to start something new, to see something through, to make something successful out of nothing. And that's why, I really look forward to seeing what you have going on, what your next venture will be, man. So I know you and I will stay in touch, and we'll definitely have you on again when the time makes sense. But man, I really appreciate your time. Appreciate you opening up and letting us know kind of what you're up to, where you've been, where you're at, and look forward to speaking with you soon too, man.
It was a pleasure for me. Cheers.
Awesome. All right. Well, once again, everybody, this is Paul with Next Level Entrepreneurs, and we're the show that helps you level up. And so make sure you guys like and subscribe so you can get all the updates to our new episodes and our releases. So everybody have a blessed day. We'll talk to you soon. Later.